Hey, welcome to tonight's IncrediChat. I'm your wonderful host, Mike the IncrediKing. No, not really. And our sleepy friend over here is Michael Grassia.
Hey guys,
He's not ill, he's not high, he's just sleepy, folks.
I'm just tired. It's been a very long day for me. That started at 4:15 in the morning.
So yeah, so tonight we got a great IncrediChat. We're going to be talking to a good friend of ours. If you've been watching our show, our IncrediChats regularly, you've heard us talk about a friend of ours. We talked about with Marty, we talked about with Noel, and he's popped into a bunch of other chats of ours. But tonight we're going to talk to is a gentleman. His name is Tim Bendig, and Tim, he's a celebrity manager. We're going to pull him on in a second, but he has worked with some of the greats in entertainment, and he's got some great new projects, great stories that he's going to share with us tonight. And so without further ado, if he's all set over there, we're going to pull in Tim Bendig. Welcome to IncrediChat, Tim.
Wow, this is amazing. You guys are just ready for it. This is exciting.
Hey, well, we are happy that you can join us. We're excited that you can join us. I mean, it's great to have you.
It almost didn't happen. I tell you, I'm the last guy to be technical setting up things. Thank God I have James here who ran around. I just stressed him out to no imagination. He's running around mad at me right now trying to hook this up within 5 minutes before the show.
So, Tim, I mean, I was just talking a little bit. We have referenced you so many times here on IncrediChat.
Likewise, you know that, Mike. You guys are just, what a show. I mean, seriously, it's wholesome, it's fun, it's funny, and you guys get a little wild.
Yeah, and we have some entertaining guests on here, like our good buddy Marty Grabstein from time to time.
Oh man, how could you not love that guy?
But he is the best. Was it Marty and me, which is Grozzy and him. I mean, we could tell you stories to him about the two of them in the car.
Oh, I bet. I think he's whispered a few of them to me, so I definitely understand, because I know I have a few with them as well.
He's the best. But so tonight, what we're going to do with you, Tim, is for everybody who doesn't know, Tim, he's a celebrity manager, but he's also an actor. He's a producer, and he's an all-around good guy. And I mean, we mentioned this before. I know.
EMT.
That's what I was just going to say. More importantly, he is out there on the front line as one of our essential workers as an EMT. So while all this stuff has been going on the last few months, Tim is out there, doing his thing and helping out the world. So it's an amazing thing.
At least Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're helping the city of Pittsburgh. But I mean,
hey, as I told you before, I did Ground Zero, so I come up to your neck of the woods before. I was up there and right on the 12th and was working and digging and on top of the rubble. So I have no problem of coming to your cities or local towns and helping out, especially for you two.
Well, thank you. I mean, but that's the good thing is when people are out, and that's the whole point of why we do these IncrediChats and everything is because, we want to help out people. We want to give people wholesome entertainment, like you were saying, during this difficult time period in our history that we have going on.
I cannot bring you anything of, The Walking Dead interest. I'm sorry. I have no sci-fi. I think the closest I'm going to get tonight is Sesame Street, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, that is quite okay. So, I mean, you mentioned you're an EMT. You said you were here for Ground Zero. So, I mean, let's talk about the beginning of your story before we get into some of the great people you've worked with. How did you go from an EMT to becoming a manager, producer, and actor?
Lots of therapy and medication, actually. No. You know what it was? I was always an autograph collector. Like, I was always smitten by getting an autograph, not for resale. God knows James would love me to sell them all, but I have thousands of autographs. You'll see some behind me. You got, from, the Wicked Witch, Margaret Hamilton, I wrote to as a child and got an autograph back, and cool. Several others, Bob Hope and Phyllis Dillard. I mean, the list goes on. So I was always intrigued by that, not to become an actor by any means, but I find it interesting to write to them and actually get a response back, like Christmas. You'd run out to the mailbox and get something. Instead of a decoder ring, I'd get an autograph. Yeah. So it was exciting. So I think having that interest of collecting autographs and not props or stuff. I have a whole movie room of props where I'm at now, but it was interesting to collect autographs. And one day even though I was in EMS, I worked at convention as a handler is what they call it when you're sitting with a movie star or talent of, helping the conventions. You guys know that. And guess who I sat with? You ready for this?
Oh no.
The Bionic Woman, Lindsay Wagner.
Wow, that's a good one.
I'm telling you, for your first act, right out of the gates, I'm placed with Lindsay Wagner. Are you kidding me? Yeah. And here's the thing. It was a limo would come, pick you up, take it, whisk. The word was whisk. They would whisk you away to the airport. I wanted to be whisked away by a limo. I thought that was bad, man. Sign me up. So the limo would come pick you up, whisk you away to the airport. You'd pick up Lindsay Wagner, and then you would go to lunch, and then the whole weekend you'd stay with her at the convention. It was at Steel City Comic-Con, I believe it was, many moons ago. And that weekend I worked with her, but we were spending a lot of time together by being a handler with her. And at the end of the day on Sunday after that weekend, she says, you know, Tim, she goes, I got to ask you something. Why didn't do you want an autograph? Do you want a photo? You didn't ask me all weekend. I feel bad. And I said, well, you know what, ma'am, I wanted to be that one guy, that one person to welcome you to Pittsburgh without soliciting an autograph, without talking about, can you hear me now? You know, just little things like that. I wanted to respect her. And she goes, you know, all the years I've been doing this, she goes, you treated me with so much respect. You got things that I didn't even need that you went out and got for me. You walked me around the place. You ought to think about doing something like this for a living. Guys, I quit my medical job 2 weeks later. 2:30 in the morning, I woke up with a name called In Person Productions because they're in person. They're coming to us. They're coming to you, to your home. And that's it. 2:30 in the morning, 2 weeks, I quit my job. And what a mistake that was in the beginning. You know, had to give blood and, you know, donor cells and everything else just to pay the mortgage. But we did it. We made it, and we're established now. It just took us forever. And you always learn.
Yeah. It's
Lindsay Wagner.
Now, let me ask, was Lindsay Wagner one of your first clients?
Actually not. She's with Aaron Gray company, representing her. But I had the pleasure of you know, seeing her at other shows, talking to her. We text. So I have a relationship with her. I would love to represent her, of course. But you know what? I have a great list, and to me, each one of them are the Bionic Man and the Bionic Woman to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and certainly, and as you said, that's one of the beautiful things about working these conventions, and especially when you're working. Like it's good to go to the convention, like as you have done, as we have done as a fan. But there's such a whole other world to it when you are working the other side of the table with the talent, with the artists, with the actors, you know, and seeing those interactions. I mean, you've seen it with the people you've worked with. We've seen it with the people we work with. To see how the fans connect with those people and the inspirational stories that come from that.
You know, as I tell the people that work with us, you know, that we can't be at every convention. So sometimes you have to send your best friends, your family members, people that you can trust to go out and handle these clients, because some require a little bit different than others. And it's just nice to be able to go to these conventions and deal with the stresses that comes along with it. But man, are we lucky to be in this environment or what? Just pleasure. You know what it is? We are privileged to be able to hear these fan stories about what they share. Specifically, when we talk about Caroll Spinney, I was privileged of all these years, gentlemen, to hear these stories of the fans crying. Got me crying, get Caroll crying. We'd all cry like a big bunch of babies because these stories were true. And I think since day one of working with Caroll, I always kind of kept it to my heart that I'm privileged to be here, the privilege to work with people, even yourselves, and hear what fans say about you guys. And it's a pleasure to hear that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's a pleasure, and it's a humbling experience too.
Man, isn't it for real? And I think you both know, specifically myself and James, we're extremely fan oriented. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, you can have all the William Shatners, everybody you can think of. But man, I'm going to say it, if you're not professional with the fans and you just treat them like second class people, you get exactly as an agent what you deserve, and that should be bad treatment. We believe in making sure that the fans have an experience, that if you don't have the money, that's okay. Come on up. Please come on up. Talk with them. Hug them. Touch them. Maybe not now. Gosh, I can see the emails flying out. What did you say? They're all touching me because of you, Tim. Stop it.
Marty will hug everybody. You know that. Marty's going to hug everybody.
But you know what I'm saying, guys. You just want to make sure that the fans have the best experience possible, and that's what we've started since day one. I tell it to everybody that works with us. You got to be upbeat. You got to make sure the fans are really, you just got to be there for them. That's what we're about.
Yeah, I just want to say I just want to say hello and identify a couple of the people who are watching us. Manny Antonio's
There's
watching
people
us.
watching?
There are people watching. Dave Odell. We have James is watching us. James Mullen. I wonder who that is.
Oh, jeez. I won't even get into that.
Cassie Cunningham Mentz, she said, and working, you get to meet wonderful people like Tim with a heart. We got that.
Isn't she, she's so, I tell you something. She would make a gay man straight. Honest to God, man. She is, seriously, she is just unbelievable. She is so remarkable to work with these conventions. And again, these are the things that, it's not just about the fans. It's like, you know what? These conventions are like what we do are like carnivals. You blow into a city, you kind of, you know, put on the performance, you make a lot of friends, and then you leave, and you hope to come back again the following year. Exactly. She's one of those young ladies that you just can't wait to see at these conventions. God, there's so many that I could go down the list that I look forward to seeing. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say this name. I apologize if I mess it up. Asif Siddiqui. He says, "Hi, Tim and James.
Yes.
I love you guys."
Asif is from the UK. What a nice young man he is. I tell you, he has been a supporter of mine and James for some time, and a huge Sesame Street follower. I mean, gosh, this all the way from the UK. This young man is just bright. He knows what he wants, and he's always had this, you know, a wish to meet some Sesame Street people, and we were able to perform that for him. We were able to provide, you know, a good opportunity. Sorry, my phone there. We're able to provide him a dream, if you will, to meet Steve Whitmire, you know, who played Kermit the Frog for many years. And it was in the UK. It was at a convention, a reunion of the Dark Crystal. Gotcha. And we got him a VIP tickets, you know, special entrance, you name it. But we wanted him to have a really memorable experience. And again, that's what we do. Even though we're not in the United States, I don't care where you're at. If I can help you to have an experience, I want to do it.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to I'm going to just throw this up there. This is from Ryan O'Connor. Let's talk about this for a quick second. He said, Tim changed my life by helping me find my biological mom. That's how stand-up he is. So look at that. You do it all, Tim.
You know, I tell you, I don't, you know, it's funny. My family used to say to me, don't you ever stop. You can't, you're insane. You have so many things going in the fire. You can't focus on one thing. Look, I'm in Guinness for jobs. Guinness Book of World Records for the most jobs. God. And the reason is because not that I dislike those people or they dislike me. It's just, it wasn't for me. So if I'm not happy, I'm not going to stay there. Guess what? I thought, you know, I studied for the priesthood at one point. Boy, that was a whole story in itself. You know, I thought that was the path to go into because I love helping people. So the priesthood, that's the best way, right? And then I left there. And then I went to the Dairy Queen. I saw a sign that says, you ever think of helping people? And this is literally right after I left the seminary. A big light bulb come on, like, yeah, read on. It says, you know, did you ever think about working on an ambulance? And that's actually how I got started. I left the seminary, had no clue what to do, no direction. And then I saw this sign at the Dairy Queen, and it says, come help people. And that's how I got into EMS, believe it or not, was I jump-started from the seminary.
Oh, wow. Wow. So you've been helping people and in many ways. Wow. Throughout your career.
Well, Ryan, you know, Ryan, I worked with at Children's Hospital, if I could say that. This is another young man. So this young man is so intelligent. It makes me look special. I mean, he's just, honest to God, he's just a fantastic guy. He has so much intelligence. He worked at Children's Hospital in the basement, not to be seen, not to be heard. And one day I finally said to him, I said, get out of this basement. You have so much to offer people. Come up above. And we got him into the ER, and from there he excelled. And yeah, we helped find his mom. I was able to do some. I had some, you know, detective background as well. So him and I put some hats on, and we were able to locate his mother for him. And I tell you, that's probably one of the most memorable things I think to date is one of those is helping him locate his mother.
Gotcha. So I mean, certainly as we can talk, as you talk about helping out people, I mean, I think the first time, so the way we all met was through, again, our buddy, the great Marty Grabstein. And, you know, so we met down in Philly, and from the moment that we met you, you know, and this is going to segue into one of the comments that we have here as well. We were able to see, because you were there with Steve and you were there with Caroll. And this was what, about 3 years, probably about 3 years ago now. And, and so Victor Romero here is talking about my parents love Sesame Street. So sad about the passing of Caroll Spinney. And I mean, we got to see you in action, and everything that in that one instance, you've been with him for so many years, so many shows. We got to see you really in action, giving all your time to Caroll. He was more than just a client to you. He was family. So let's talk a little bit about Caroll and how did you get to meet him? How did this all gel where you became...
Pardon me 1 second. I tell you, just talking about Caroll, I'm look, what do I say?
Yeah.
Mr. Spinney, and I'm going to say it, Mr. Spinney and Mrs. Spinney created my business, our business. Even though, Butch Patrick, by the way, was one of my first clients, Eddie Munster, and again, another mentor of mine. This guy puts up a lot of stuff from me. I'm texting him all kinds of hours asking for advice. So, he was my first, and it went to Ian Petrella. And then I ran into Deb and Caroll at a convention and told them my aspirations of becoming a celebrity manager or agent or handler. I don't know what the words were at the time.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and James with me, and she says, you know what? I'm going to give you two boys a chance. And we looked at each other like, okay. So we weren't even established yet. So we have Big Bird, and I remember trying to book him, and these promoters would say to me, God, you guys are going to be insulted as well. The promoter's like, I don't want Big Bird. I don't have kids here. What do I want my Caroll Spinney for?
Yeah.
I'm like, perfect. You want Caroll Spinney because it's not about the little kids anymore. It's about all of us who grew up watching him.
Nostalgia.
And finally, when we started getting him out there, everybody realized, wow, this is Caroll Spinney, Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch at 50 years. What a legend and what an honor it was to work for him. And we still work with Mrs. Spinney. She's going to be going out doing some tours as well. We have a new program we're putting together with her to talk about what it was like. I married Big Bird. So she's going to talk about all these little stories as well. Oh, actually, we're going to have her come on your show and do a little personal, storytelling time.
That's going to be awesome. What were you going to say, Grassia?
No, I said that sounds like a lot of fun for us to have and hear the stories. I think everyone who's ever met Caroll and spent more than like, hi, it's nice to meet you at a con, has just awesome stories and nothing but nice things to say about him and Deb. Gentlemen,
I say this to you truly, having been intimate with Mr. Spinney, Caroll, for almost 10 years, being a caretaker of his in his latter part of his years, specifically at the conventions, it was harder for him to get around. I think at times people misunderstood that we worked for Caroll. He was my boss. Okay, we all have bosses. They tell you when to show up. They tell you when you can go home. They tell you when you can take a break. That's what the bosses do. And he was a boss. So anytime we did a convention, it's because he wanted to. Not because of Deborah, not because of me or James, not because of the promoters, not because of the fans. It was Caroll wanting to go out and meet these fans. And he did it up until Rhode Island was his last show. But he did the best that he could do. And I tell you, this man truly, and I'm telling you guys, truly loved his fans. He would cry. We'd go back to the hotel room and he would cry just talking about the stories that he heard of the day from the fans telling him. And he would remember them. He would remember these stories. He was, remember that lady? Remember that man telling me the story? And he would cry. He would cry because he knew what he really did for many, many people in this world. Many people. He knew.
Yeah. And I mean, certainly over at Rhode Island too. I mean, that was his last show. Unfortunately, shortly after we lost Caroll. But I mean, you guys, with everybody there at Rhode Island, I know Noel McNeil was there, Steve Whitmire was there. I know Bill Diamond put together a Big Bird replica, and you guys had like a big bash celebrating Caroll at that show.
Wasn't Bill Diamond just over the top with that Big Bird? I mean, we knew he was doing it, but that was just, I mean, when Big Bird was wheeled out, Caroll's eyes lit up like, what's going on? He didn't know. He knew that was his last convention, by the way, just so you know that there was no surprises. He knew that Rhode Island would be it for him. He wanted to continue more, but at that point, you know what? Gosh, they earned it to be together, and Deb and Caroll wanted to just sit out on their gazebos and just, pick flowers and berries and be underneath the stars. What a puppy love that story is, huh?
Oh my God, yeah. And I mean, for anybody that hasn't seen it, I guarantee Tim has seen this probably numerous times, the I Am Big Bird documentary. What a phenomenal story.
That's a good one, yeah.
if you haven't seen it, boy, do I tell you to go get it, because I remember watching this when it first came out, and just, you know, James and I were watching it, and I had to call Caroll. I had to call Deborah and tell them, I'm sorry, guys. I owe you an apology, because I didn't realize, it never really sunk in, even to this day, that, oh my God, I represent Big Bird. I represent Caroll Spinney.
Yeah.
To this day, I never saw him as Big Bird. Isn't that sad? I only saw him as a man. I saw him as Caroll. I saw him as a father figure for me, someone who literally took me under their wing and helped us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, gosh, and I mean, I had seen Caroll so many times at different shows, even before we saw him with you. And I had seen him one time.
You're having some static that I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding you.
I don't know where it's coming from. I've been hearing it too.
I'm hearing some static. I'm not sure. Can you hear me? No. I think that might be you, Tim.
That probably is. That's the story of my life.
I just muted you. So that's why you were quiet for a moment. No, I mean, we'll work around the static. I apologize for it, folks. But the one thing I do want to say in regards to I Am Big Bird, Caroll certainly had done the convention circuit for a long time, with and without you. And one time I had met Caroll, and it was right after I Am Big Bird came out on DVD. And I was with Bill Diamond. So Bill and his team also had a good relationship with Caroll and Deb too. And so Bill and I went over, and Caroll signed my DVD, and I gave it to his wife. And I said, "Can you sign it too?" She's like, oh. I was like, "But this is your movie as much as it is Caroll, 100%." Like she's the co-star of that movie.
It's funny because Deborah was always embarrassed when the fans would ask for her signature on certain items. She was always embarrassed, and because you know what, she is the most humble woman I've ever met in my life. Truly, she wants nothing in life. Well, she wants Caroll, of course, but she wants nothing. This woman just lives her life to help people, and I tell you something, I owe it to her for having the trust in us, and I hope she's watching. I know she's out there listening. Deborah Spinney, thank you for giving us an opportunity.
And again, I know you're saying you're still working with her and stuff. Like Caroll lives on. Like, you know, Caroll's not physically here with us, but I mean, his spirit is still so strong with like everybody that got to meet him. I mean, just the legacy that he left behind. You know, it's amazing what he's done, what he did, what he left us.
I have no.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I have trouble understanding you, and I don't know what.
All right.
It seems quiet now.
Okay. Unless it's maybe shaking, I don't know. But let's go. Do you want me to see if I can we're just gonna maybe push you away from me and bring you back? If that works.
Give it a try.
Let's just see. Hold on.
Test who it is.
I don't understand a word you're saying.
Sorry.
It's his. It's definitely his. Because I got up to move my fan just in case it was blowing wind into the speaker.
Sorry about that, folks. We're just getting our technical difficulties here. This is showbiz. Ain't no business like it. Let's see. Tim's just getting his stuff together. No worries. Oh, we lost Tim for a minute. Yeah, so Tim will be right back. But no.
He'll log back
in. What's that?
I said he'll log back in.
He'll log back in. Anyways, yeah, no. So going back on that, like Tim, like if you've ever been to a convention, and when Tim comes back, we'll talk about more. Tim represents more than just Caroll. Like he has Steve Whitmire, who is Kermit the Frog. He has our good friend Noel McNeil there in the Big Blue House. Marty, of course. I mean, who doesn't love Marty? He has the humans in Sesame Street.
Yep.
Marty Krebstein. Marty. He has Anson Williams and Donnie Most from Happy Days. I mean, there's such an array of people that Tim has, and like truly the commitment that him and his team bring to these meet and greets at these conventions is good. I know Joshua Howell. Yeah, I know it's all good. Statics on Tim's side. Tim will be back, folks. Don't worry about Tim. But Grassia, do you have a favorite Caroll story from the times that we met him?
Not the times that we met him together. My very first meeting with him was at a New York Comic-Con. I don't know how many years ago. I was still working for the college, so probably around maybe 2014, 2015. And I was with one of my coworkers, and she was like, "Oh my God, she just had a kid. She wanted a drawing from Caroll." She was like, "How awesome is this?" So I went up and I just started chatting with him, and he was like, "What are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm a freelance illustrator, animator. I teach animation, all this stuff." And he goes and just starts talking about how he started his business in the industry as an animator. He even worked, and I don't know if he worked for Disney or just took the Disney test. But he left animation to focus on to do puppetry. And I'm like, I had the reverse story. I was building puppets back in I built them my whole life, but like I was building puppets between 2000, maybe 3 and 5, kind of on a full-time basis. And I'm talking like marionettes, rod puppets. I wasn't doing like Muppet style stuff. But I'm like, I preferred animation. It's what I went to school for. And when the whole like internet animation started back in the late 90s, I was working on that. And I kind of, freelancing is just kind of one of those jobs where you either get it or you don't. And I loved puppetry so much. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't getting some work. Let me apprentice with a puppet maker and a puppeteer, and I started learning more and more about the industry there. But I ended up, even though I know how to perform, I preferred the behind-the-scenes stuff. So I was talking to Caroll about that. I said, and I eventually left to focus back on animation. So we talked for a good 10, 15 minutes. Even when he had fans, he would talk to the fans, and he basically asked me to stay, and we just chatted for a good maybe 15 minutes plus. And I'm like, that was one of the best experiences of my life meeting him. I think that might be my favorite, because I've met him a couple of times since then.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were at the PhillyCon, the one where we met Tim, sitting there with him and his wife and Steve and his wife and Marty, just having breakfast in the morning and just all chatting. Everybody was such great people. It was so fun to talk with all of them.
Yeah, and I apologize, guys. We are just trying to get Tim back on here. There's some technical difficulties, but no problem. We'll get him back. Grassia, while I'm working to get Tim back, talk a little bit about what's coming up tomorrow on Getting Tuned.
Tomorrow, I got J.M. DeSantis. I think is how you say it, DeSantis. I'm sorry, I got to look at the spelling, and I apologize, J.M., because I know we're kind of buddies, but I'm very bad with pronouncing names. He does like fantasy kind of horror stuff, but it's amazing. I would love to pull up the file just to have, because I can't remember the titles of his books.
Okay.
If you give me a second, my phone's acting up a little bit. Give me a second here. I will pull up.
We'll be back in a minute, folks. We apologize for the technical difficulties today.
So he wrote me some talking points that in the order he wants me to talk about them. So we're going to talk about, I think it's called.
No, Tim's back.
Oh, okay, never mind. We'll talk. We'll talk
there he is. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were just.
What's the news?
Guess what?
What?
My cell phone died.
Oh.
I told you I was new at this.
Gotcha. It's okay. It's okay. We were waxing poetic about you and In Person Pro and Caroll and your whole roster. I mean, you didn't even name everybody, but we named a bunch.
No, seriously, let me apologize to both of you. I really truly was prepared. I was so proud of myself, not having to bother you both, not having to bother James, not having to turn to Wikipedia or ask Google. I was so proud of myself, and then it just didn't go well. So but I'm here now.
There's always tech issues. Don't worry about it.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, for all of us, I guess Grassia has done this, but for me, between doing our IncrediChats and being a teacher, I'm all about now this whole streaming, whether it be through StreamYard or Zoom or whatever. Like, we're all past this.
Well, I've noticed you guys are top of the line. I mean, of course, Mike's artwork is unbelievable, and of course, the educators, gotta love educators. But without you guys, I always had trouble in school. I had first to admit it. School wasn't something that was I can't sit still. It's really difficult for me. So in school, I remember sitting there, my legs wanted to just leave my body. I felt like it was some type of, I don't know, out of body experience. My legs want to just run with the rest of me sitting there. And teacher like, dude, why can't you sit still? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, too much caffeine. That's what it is. But I wanted to tell you about, with the Spinneys. First of all, thank you for even allowing me to come on here to talk about, what it was like working for Mr. Spinney. He was such an inspiration to so many people. I don't need to say that, but I wanted to say it about myself, selfishly. Without that man and his wife Deborah, man, I tell you something, I wouldn't be anywhere. They've taught me a lot of things, off the record, to educate me on negotiations and things, and I'm humbled by them, and I thank them both for giving me the opportunity. But we have other good clients as well.
Absolutely.
Work with Randy Jones of the Village People, which is one of the favorite ones, because we just get along. We have such. He's a big ball of fun. First of all, I don't know if you've met Randy before.
I haven't met him yet. But I did watch a video from a con where Marty introduced him and he was performing. So.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what some of the conventions that we do is when we're booking out, Randy, he'll actually perform at the conventions at some of their VIP parties.
Yeah.
And me, I'm 51, so I get out there. I'm YMCA. There's no shame in my game. I'll get out there, dance with Macho Man in the Navy. Yeah, I get out there. I had Randy at one of the amusement parks here in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I was out there. As soon as he starts doing the YMCA, I'm out there like a bad wedding. I'm out there.
Yeah, and then so some of the other you're talking about. So you talk about Randy. We mentioned Marty, of course, several times. We mentioned Noel McNeil. We mentioned Anson and Donnie from 50 Days. But some of the two other people who really definitely deserve a shout out with things that you're working on. Oh, we got that static again. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Maybe it's over my mic. Is that going to help? Did that help a little bit?
It seems when you speak, the static is there.
Mike's got to stay silent the whole time.
I have an electric personality, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what to do, guys. I'm embarrassed to tell you. I don't.
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's. I know we were talking about shows the other day, like making sure it's like, listen, we're here. Let's just have some fun with it,
Yes.
But Tim, I definitely two things. We'll start with the first thing I want to definitely talk about is one of the shows that you're producing with another one of your clients, Steve Whitmire. Talk a little bit about Weldon, the IT guy.
Well, hopefully you can hear me, and I think you asked me about TLC.
No. Well, I'm starting with Weldon. We'll get to TLC. Let's talk about Weldon.
Okay, I can't. It's so hard to understand. I'm so embarrassed. I'm gonna have to you're gonna have to load up cue cards.
Send it to him in the private chat so he can hear you. Ask him a question in the private chat.
Oh, I can do that. You should be able to see that, right, Tim? The private chat?
I guess, yeah. To my right?
Yeah, to your right, there should be a private chat. So Michael asked the question in there.
I can't. You'll have to read it to me.
I'll read it when it's Weldon.
I'm not there.
The IT guy, Steve. Oh, which? Okay.
I can't even see it, guys.
It says Weldon, the IT guy with Steve.
Well, as we know, this is so frustrating. I'm so embarrassed. Steve Whitmire, of course, who played Kermit the Frog and some other wonderful Muppets. We came up with an idea. His idea, of course, of Weldon, the IT guy, internet troll, and we put a show together called Cave In, and it's a fantastic program, and it's where this created puppet from Steve, created all by himself, owns everything about it, and we do this once a month show where the fans will call in, hopefully have a miserable day. If you call and you're in a good mood, I can tell you he's going to hang up on you. He wants people to talk about their miserable lives, and he kind of gives you some advice that is not expected, and it's funny. There's times he could be a little bit compassionate, but that's not his MO. And I'm a producer of the show, and I'm loving every minute of it. Matter of fact, it's extremely hard to be on set with Steve, because even though he's a professional, once he starts, doing his thing, I can't stop laughing. I'll probably get thrown off set because I laugh so hard. Can you hear me?
Yes. Mike, are you okay hearing him?
Yeah, no, I turned my mic off to see if that would help. I'm still hearing static, but that's why I
Hold on. Let me turn mine off and see. I don't think it's mute because it stops when he's. Oh, do me a favor, mute me.
Is that any better?
No static. No static.
A little bit. Okay, we're working through it. This again.
Is it a connection issue?
I'm sorry. Yeah, there's still some static.
Is it a connection issue?
I'm gonna just mute you, Tim, and let's see if we hear any static. Uh-oh.
I'm sorry.
But that's okay. We'll make this work. Can we hear static now? You can talk, Ross.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I don't hear any static. It has to be something on Tim's end. Yeah.
Tim's talking. We're going to unmute you again, Tim. What did you say? What's that? Because you seem to have a lag, too, Tim.
It could just be... we can't even have him put headphones on. Tim, do you have headphones?
Oh, we lost him again. Uh-oh. All
If
right.
he
Tim's going to try and come back.
Mike, listen to me. Text him and tell him if he has headphones to put that in. It could be something on his... Until when he logs back in, log in with the headphones on because he can't log out, So, you guys, sorry about this. We will get him back. We will get everything working. I got to be honest. I was tired when this started, but all this commotion of all this stuff has woken me up. I wasn't going to stay on the whole night because I had a day that started at 4:15 this morning. And it was a very long day, and I was falling asleep even just waiting for us to go live. But now I'm awake.
Gotcha. Anyways, yeah. So, Tim, are you using a cell? Ryan just says, Tim, are you using a cell phone? It's so you're connected to the wireless. Close your radio. Use 2G with you in 30 feet. All right. So if Tim comes back on, guys, hopefully we'll get that going. Again, we apologize, guys. This is this is live. This is live television. That's what this is. It's not really television. I don't even know what this is.
It's the new television. Don't worry.
It is the new television. So go back and tell us more about J.M. DeSantis while we wait for Tim.
Oh, let me pull up the file again because I closed out.
I'm just gonna mute myself for a quick second while I try and get a hold of Tim.
So he has something called Chattahina, which I think it's a new miniseries coming out. Gentleman Cthulhu, which is a web comic. Robert Phillips, a Lovecraftian novella. Ghosts Are People 2. It's a children's book and probably good for my audience because I do a lot of kids stuff. The Tainted Ones, a short gothic horror comic. The Kirkland Horror, an upcoming horror novel. Fenwick End, upcoming horror trilogy. Both with this and number 6 are work in progress. And then J.M. DeSantis, The First 10 Years, a memoir and collection of my work from the beginning of my career. And so that's the topics we're going to talk about tomorrow, as many as we can get through. Like I said, there's a lot of fantasy horror. I love his style of art. I love his writing. When I do these Get in Tunes, I'm not just bringing on people who are friends of mine or people who I'm just fans with. I'm trying to pull out interesting people that I think, especially in the independents, that are somewhat unknown to the general public, and I'd like to help bring these people out and get their work out to you guys.
And it's to add to that, Gross. The one thing we probably should say too is like if you or everybody watching at home, and I just want to say hello to Ryan, to Joy Furby, Asif. I know you had some great comments. We're going to get to Mark Shower. I want to say hey to you. Tim is his best pal. Scott Schwartz, who he also is a manager. He's got some amazing people too, but we say hey to him too. He said Tim rocks. And guess who's back? Tim, you're back.
Do I look sweaty?
No.
I tell you.
I'm not hearing static.
How do you guys do this? how you guys do this, I'll never understand. I don't know how you do it.
I turn my lights to the side.
I tell you,
No.
I don't know what I'm doing, guys, but I got a better reception, I think.
Okay.
And, you know, sorry this is like it is, but you know what? I'm new. And, yeah, the light's bad.
That's okay. Listen, I'm in my dining room. I'm in my dining room, so it's okay. Listen. We know people who broadcast from their basement. No names needed.
It looks like a horror movie about to happen.
At this point, I'm. It seems it's worked. I moved upstairs, and
yeah, you sound good. Don't worry.
Could have been okay.
So we left off. We were talking about Weldon, the IT guy. You said you're going to get kicked and fired from the set because Steve is hilarious, and you.
He is. All time. Boy, it's so much better that I moved upstairs. I should have done it in the first place, but you know, you live and learn. Yeah, working with Steve, you know, again, it's all thanks to the Spinneys, of course, who recommended them to me many years when he was still at Disney, and then when he departed there, you know, he decided to give me a chance, and you know, we started talking about doing other projects together, and we teamed up with Weldon, and it's been a blessing to me. It's a wonderful project. I love working with Weldon. He's a lot of fun. He has a lot to offer a lot of us. So, and he's so animated, which is just fun to be part of, watching Steve's craft, watching him do what he does best, his puppeteer, and to be intimate like that, to be witness of that. Man, I tell you, I'm humbled to be part of his team. I really am.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the fun things with Weldon too, I mean, outside of Steve's talent, are just the entertaining guests that you guys have had on so far, like the Stranger Things kids.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, if you think about it, you know, the talent that we're able to secure is unbelievable, and that's where I come in when I'm at these conventions. You know, a fan of the Stranger Things cast, of course, and once I knew that you know, they were fans of Kermit the Frog, whew, easy to facilitate a meeting of them too. Because this is wrong. I'll share it with everybody. What I did was I walked over to them and saying, "Hey, I represent Steve Whitmire. He's a huge fan of both of yours, of the show Stranger Things, and he would love to meet you." And I'd go back to Steve and I'd say, "Hey, Steve, the Stranger Things cast is here, and they're a huge fan of yours, and they want to meet you," because I wanted to meet them. So what we did was I bridged them together, and you know, they went, "Oh my God, you want to meet me?" And Steve's like, "Oh, you want to meet me?" And everybody got to meet each other. And of course, there's me. And then I said, "Oh, by the way, we have this new puppet called Weldon, and we're premiering it here. Would you like to be part of it?" Man, Gaten and then Gabriella both jumped on it immediately. And of course, you know, you saw Lou Ferrigno. I love Lou. Yep. Who doesn't know Lou Ferrigno? He was willing to do it. Brian O'Halloran, come on, you can't get any better than those two guys. I love working with Brian when he does things with Weldon. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, and and correct me if I'm wrong, but the inaugural chat with Weldon was Henry Winkler, right?
Oh my gosh, Mike! Let me just tell you. First of all, pulling that off live was, well, you think I'm stressed now. That was like 302 worthy for me, because the sounds weren't connecting. Henry's in the background like, you know, I'm giving up my dinner to be here. And so everyone's nervous because it's Henry Winkler, it's the Fonz. And we finally goes, "You know what? I'm just going to sit over here in my chair. And when you're ready, you come get me." And he didn't speak. He went to his chair and he sat there, very polite, but sat there, didn't utter a word till we got it together. Because I don't think he knew what he was getting into. I think he knew it was a puppet, but maybe like a sock puppet. I don't know. But once Weldon came out, he was engaging with Weldon enough that he actually came into character of the Fonz, because Weldon was trying to insult him. Like, you know, "Should I even know who you are?" And of course, the crowd's like, "Oh my God, that's blasphemous to the Fonz. You don't know who Henry Winkler is." And yeah, he acted like the Fonz. He did his voice. He did you know, just a couple things. And I know his manager at the time said he's never done that before. He doesn't go into character like that. And Weldon really stumped him, because one of the crowd members asked, you know, if there was a Mrs. Weldon, and then Weldon said, "That's presumed that I'm, you know, a man." And Henry looked at him and had no clue how to get out of that, because Henry was the one who asked the question from the fan. So Henry just looks at the camera and says, "Man, I got myself into a pickle." You know, because he didn't know how to answer it. He didn't know how to answer it. So having Henry as part of this, and to stay as long as he did, guys, he was only supposed to do like 10 minutes. I think he stayed for like 35, 40 minutes for the whole set because he loved it. And he really loved it. And again, good times with Henry doing that scene. Of course, we had the Gotham cast. That was fantastic. Those two, they just went crazy and had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. So I mean, and again, you know, you meet so many wonderful people in this world of conventions, and again, working with everybody, you know, like you think of showbiz as just like all that performing, but like and meeting Henry Winkler several times, like there is a huge heart in that man. Like, geez.
You know, it's funny because I go back to the analogy of like a carnival. You go into these little towns and you see these, you know, people that tour with you, you know, not specifically with you, but you see other celebrities that you may have saw a month ago and you had dinner with. So exactly. Along the way, I guess I could say that I even though I don't have certain clients that I have dinner with, you still have the privilege of going out to dinner with other celebrities.
Exactly.
You know, either by guilty of association for my client, or just the fact that we have a good conversation and, hey, do you want to go to dinner? You know, I remember having dinner with breakfast with Lou Ferrigno. He was not my client, but having breakfast with him was fun. It's exciting to me because it was Lou Ferrigno. I mean, like, holy Lord, the Incredible Hulk is sitting in front of me and I'm allowed to be here. I'm like, this, sometimes it's surreal for me because, you know, these are my childhood idols that I looked up to. And again, I don't see him as the Hulk. I think I'm jaded. I see everybody as who they are. And that's a good thing. I think it's kept me grounded. I don't get, I was going to say that's not true. I was going to say I don't fanboy out, but you know what? That's not true. I did fanboy out with one of my clients, which is Paul Souls. Paul Souls is Hermie, the Misfit Elf from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Rankin Bass series.
Yes.
And look, guys, I really don't fanboy out all that much. I really don't. If anything, I look at the client and I'm like, are they going to be a lot of work? You know, what do I, special M&Ms, purple, blue, you know, do I need rose petals? You know, you think about things because a lot of clients want special things and God knows I don't mind doing them. But Paul was very just humble, nice guy. And when he did the voice for me, I had that recorded so quick. It's forever in my memories because he did the voice for me. And it was just amazing. Again, I got all tongue tied.
You know, I'll share a quick story with you, Tim, that you'll really appreciate. And Grassia was here for this one. So our friend Marty Grabstein, this is a Marty story, you know, but it goes back into this whole, like, you know, you spend time with this traveling carnival, if you will, you know, and you get to know people. So we were up here in the Hudson Valley where I live, and Gilbert Gottfried was doing the con that we are at. And Tim, I don't know if you know what Gilbert Gottfried's stand-up comedy is like, but I mean, my God, you know, we're not going to repeat anything here. So we're at the convention here in the area, and so Marty arranges for us to go and see Gilbert live, right?
Oh yeah, I remember you told me the story. Yeah,
and we get there, and also another person who we're friends with, Karen Parsons from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
She was with us too. So I mean, we with a whole bunch of people, we had gone out to dinner, and then we went to go see Gilbert afterwards. And so it was myself, Grassia, my girlfriend, Marty, and Karen. You know, and we go to this little comedy club, and Gilbert's on stage. And I mean, at the convention, he's so quiet and little meek, but on stage, like, my God, you know. And some of the stuff, you know, Marty and we're in the back. Marty, the loudest laugh in the room,
no doubt.
You know? And I just and I'm just like looking at my girlfriend. I'm like, how crazy is this? Like, how are we sitting here watching Gilbert with like these people? And it's just it is a surreal thing. It is.
It is. It really is, actually. You know, I represent a lot of the happy days, and I remember going to dinner with Ensign Williams and Dawn Most, and I represented Erin Moran for the last few years of her life. She was so wonderful to work with. Kathy Silvers is another one. And I remember doing one of these car shows and having a group picture taken, you know, with myself. One of the perks, I guess, is I too get pictures, and I had my group photo taken. I'm just looking at it. I'm thinking, wow, the happy days. Here I am working with them, and I'm just so honored to be next to these the wonderful talent that I have on our roster. It's every day I wake up just thinking, wow, me, I get to do this every day.
Man. And I mean, this definitely talking about this whole surreal experience and living it is a perfect segue into what you have currently going on right now, because my gosh, you were telling me the other day, your life has been completely invaded, but in a perfectly good way. So tell us a little bit about what's happening now.
Well, you both are privileged to know, as well as a few other people, but we have, we represent Jyoti Amge, who is the world's smallest living woman. She's in Guinness Book of World Records, 27 years old, about 22, 23 inches tall, just a tiny little peanut. But I tell you something, we have bonded with her and her family. Matter of fact, we're called their sons. They've adopted James and I literally into their family, and they treat us as their sons. We call Mama, Mama, and Papa, Papa, and we give them the same respect for the elderly of India, the older people, the same type of, when we see them, we say Namaste, Apkesi Ho. We try to talk in their language. It's some things that James and I have been, studying is Hindi, so we could, better communicate with Jyoti. And I remember 2 years ago, we're all sitting here at the house because she would come, live here each year. She stays here at the house for 4 months with her parents, her sister, and our 3 chihuahuas, a big red scarlet macaw. And we decided, you know what? Wouldn't this be a fantastic, fantastic reality show of having, the world's smallest living woman live with 2 guys, no Hindi speak, no English speak, her parents, her sister, the 3 dogs all living in one roof, and just making a bizarre, fun environment. And it was. So we decided to go to Levitt Productions, Michael Levitt and Jill. We decided to go to them and pitch this idea of this story of Jyoti coming to America, again, living with 2 guys and experiencing what America has to offer on a quest to become a celebrity, if you will. Mm-hmm. And we pitched it to Netflix, and we went to TLC and Lifetime, and TLC, they bought the deal. 2 years ago, they said yes. Last year, 2018, we started filming here at the house. She came here from India with the parents and her sister, and of course, my James is here. And we filmed the TV show, and it airs July 9th. It was a 2-year project. There's a lot of hours spent, a lot of traveling back and forth to Hollywood, and a lot negotiations. And finally, gentlemen, I could say that on July 9th at 10 p.m. on TLC, we're airing the show with Jyoti, and it's exciting. It's exciting to be part of her journey, and it's called Meet the World's Smallest Living Woman, or something like that. Look, I don't even remember the name. Gosh, I'm already going to get the boot.
Well, what I also did was for anybody who's watching, and there are people watching, and if you haven't seen it already, what I did was I threw the link to the commercial up into the feed here. So click on that, and you can watch the feed when we're done.
Can you believe it has over 8 million views for this trailer? 8 million views.
That's crazy.
I remember when we were all speaking about this, I was telling James, I'm like, my gosh, we're up to 2,000 views. 2,000 views. And this is for the past 5 days. Gentlemen, I haven't slept. I mean, I'm getting only a few hours sleep because I'm addicted to those numbers. I'm watching them grow up and up and up and up. And it's 8 million. And I remember when James and I were originally looking at the numbers, Oprah was on there. She did a live stream. She had 5,700,000 views of her trailer. And gentlemen, that's my goal. I set a goal to James. I'm like, we got to beat Oprah. We got to beat Oprah. Boy, we beat Oprah. We 8 million views, thousands and thousands of shares. I mean, our Facebook messages, I'm getting messages from all over the world. I mean, from China, Brazil, you name it, Russia. It aired in Russia actually a few months ago, and we understand it was a huge hit in Russia.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched the show in Russian, so I'd like to meet the guy that played me in the Russian voice at least. He sounded pretty okay, but it was weird because we're dubbed in Russian, but he sounded pretty good. I want to meet him, see who played me. Hopefully they did better than what they got here, but nonetheless, it was exciting. and July 9th we air the show, and Jyoti's living with us, and we have a lot of experiences together. When you see this program, it's sad. There's a lot of laughter. She's a practical joker. And I know a lot of people are commenting on the way we speak with Jyoti, and I understand this. you know, we don't disrespect Jyoti by when we speak with her in a, sometimes people like to refer to as a toddler speak. That's not what we intend to. Jyoti doesn't understand English. So
Yeah.
when we communicate with her, it seems like we're talking toddler talk to a 27-year-old female. But she, again, just like I said about Caroll Spinney, she's my boss, everyone. I work for her. She tells us how to communicate to her. So if we speak to her and it's slow and it's long words, it's because that's how she's understanding it. Until we have a plan. She's going to take English classes here. That's hopefully is part of the series that we can get is, you know, getting her to learn English and take college class. She's already working on her master's degree. It's not like she's not intelligent, but it's just she doesn't understand English. So we do speak to her a little bit differently, but we're getting away from that. And I'm excited about the project. It's an honor to be immortalized, I guess, in some way, that you're forever attached to Jyoti Amge, and it's a pleasure.
Yeah, and I mean, certainly, I mean, you can definitely speak to this. I don't think everybody in the audience might even know this, and certainly I didn't know this until you shared it with me. So here in the United States, we know her from American Horror Story.
That's right. Yeah.
But how do they look at her back home where she's from?
Well, it's funny that you bring that up. It's amazing actually, because Jyoti in India is considered a deity. You know, there was a god back in the day that was one of their smallest gods, and she's half the size of that god. So they believe that she's reincarnated of this original short god. I can't recall the name, and pardon me for that. So in India, they throw themselves at her feet. They throw money at her feet because their temple and just the fact that she's a living god. And I didn't experience that. And the first time we brought her here to Pittsburgh, I remember going to the mall. And we're at a local mall, and I'm just holding her. I mean, I'm just holding her, doing my thing. We're joking. She's whispering things in my ear to get me to laugh, and you know, she'll put her finger in my ear while I'm talking to people just to catch me off guard. And you know, she does these things. She's that way. But I never experienced the Hindi community when we'd be at the like Walmart, where they would just attack us. So we're at the mall, and all these young girls started coming at it everywhere. All these stores, the associates were coming out. It was so bad. And I'm the start of it, because we went into the Apple store, okay? And I'm holding her, and people were looking, but that they maybe thought that, you know, it's a little Indian baby. They didn't really know who she was because she had her face facing me. And I thought, you know what? We had a show coming up in Pittsburgh, and I thought, what better opportunity is to promote her than in the Apple store? So what we did was we went to all the computers, and we pulled up her picture. So all the computers at the Apple store had the world's smallest woman, and as they were looking at the screen and looking at her screen, looking at her back and forth, they're like, "Holy Lord, it's the world!" We disrupted the whole store. Yeah, they had to call the mall security. We had to get escorted out. The manager was great; he took pictures, but it totally disrupted. It's not like that store's already disrupted enough. Yeah, we disrupted it. Yeah. So those are the fun things that we have the pleasure of doing with Jyoti. That we, even though she's a deity, we still give her the same respect, gentlemen. We still give her that same respect. James and I go to their temple. We pray at their temple. As a matter of fact, they actually went to a Catholic church for me. They actually came to my church to participate, and that was unheard of. And they came in and they tried to do the sign of the cross, and they didn't understand the up and down stuff, and none of that they got, but they laughed at some parts. And I remember when people started doing the sign of the peace and putting their hand out to shake everybody, they're like, whoa, what's going on? They didn't know that was supposed to, the Catholicism faith, at one point in the service, you shake each other's hands. They didn't know what was going on. And so you can't touch Jyoti. A lot of the things that we protect her is a lot of the men that we don't allow her to touch her, because it's, again, with her culture, we respect it. So we're really adamant about protecting her from the public when we're out, because a lot of the Hindi community comes up to her and they see her as a deity. They come up automatically, they just charge her, and she gets scared. So we're constantly holding her, not because she can't walk. She loves to walk, and she walks all the time. It's just so much easier holding her to protect her from the people taking camera pictures and wanting her autograph and just to touch her. And who wants touched all the time?
Well, especially now in this day and age with everything that's going on.
For sure. Yes, definitely. I think she's probably liking this a little bit, but you know what? When she wants to, she sends her hand and she gives a little glide on her palm of your hand, just a gentle little positive vibe for you. That's something she started when she came to the United States when we did one of the shows. Instead of shaking hands and people just getting there and, you know, aggressively shaking their hand, and she's so fragile, we decided to come up with something that was meaningful to people, meaningful to her. So when they do extend her hand, I sometimes say, well, she doesn't shake, but what she's willing to do is she'll just gently slide her hand on the palm of your hand, and she gives you, she gives you good positive energy. And really, people love it, and they really feel, because I know I do. When the first time I held her, I was at Spooky Empire in Florida, and I remember that Papa says no guy can touch her in a broken English, and not us. I was afraid to look at her. I was literally afraid to look at her. And I remember at the VIP party, the dad says, you know, Jyoti, and he calls me over, and he's like, and he's holding Jyoti, and he's like, Jyoti, and I'm like, oh, he wants me to hold her. Oh my God, he wants me to hold Jyoti. I can't do this. I'm going to hold Jyoti. I'm going to hold Jyoti. Oh my God. And I kept on stuttering in my head, and I remember all these flash bulbs coming, hundreds of flash bulbs. I'm like, okay, Tim. And every picture, there's me staring straight ahead, because I was afraid to blink. I was afraid to move. I was afraid to drop her, and I didn't know what to do. And guess what I did? I tossed her off to James. Like I didn't know what to do. I'm like, James? You know, I just didn't know what to do. And then James did all the pictures. He's staying straight because he didn't know. Yeah. We're humbled that they accepted us like they did, guys, and just welcomed into their lives enough that we all lived together every year for the past 2 years, for 4 months every year. They're coming again. They were supposed to be here for this year, but we're hoping for 2021 of March. And yes, we want to bring her to your show, by the way. We definitely want to bring her out to your conventions and have her on your show. That's what we want to do next.
That'd be phenomenal. I was gonna say, I was gonna ask you that, but I mean, one of my favorite, like you talk about holding her, one of my favorite parts of the trailer for the show is you and her grocery shopping, and she was like holding all these groceries.
Well, look, you know, it's funny is because people like, you know, you don't treat her like a toddler. Don't treat her like, well, okay, fine, we don't. Do your own shopping. Do your own shopping. And I tell you something, she shops just like any other female. Trust me, when she shops, I won't go. I go because I go for security purposes, but James goes shopping with her. Them two shop, and they'll shop all day. They'll go into a clothing store, and he'll come out with bags of clothes. She comes out with bags of clothes. I mean, you see one of the scenes where she's modeling clothes with James, leather jackets and things. You know what? It's not for me. I'll go to Walmart with her just because it's so chaotic there. I feel like there needs to be both of us when we're at that type of environment. But I don't like to go shopping. And
does she like Walmart?
Pardon?
Does she like Walmart?
She does like Walmart because you know what they do? God love these people. What the okay families do is they you know what they do, Mike? They bring 5 empty suitcases from India, and they shop here, and they bring it back to their family. So they that's what I love about them, is that while they're here, they're shopping for their family members that are less fortunate than they are. So they're buying things like a potato peeler, little innocent gadgets that we take for granted that they don't have in India. Or I'm not saying that all India doesn't have potato peelers. Don't email me. You know, I'm saying, like, you know, they may not have access to a lot of these things. So they buy a lot of tchotchkes and they take them home. Trust me, when we take them to the airport, we need a U-Haul.
So now you were saying about them. So 2021 we're hoping for. I mean, with everything. I mean, first of all, how are they doing over there with everything that's going on in the world?
Well,
and
yeah, recently their house got robbed when they got back from America. You know, I believe it was an inside job from the you know, airport. It's not like you don't know who she is in India because she's a deity, so you can't hide her. You know, so they they put her in all the Indian attire, the cultural outfits, but people know who their family is, so they know when they're holding her, they assume it's Jyoti. The time she got back to her house and they dropped everything off and they went to prayer. The time they got back, everything was robbed in their house. They totally destroyed a lot of her Guinness Book of World Records statues and awards that she got. They just went in and they took her little gold specialized, you know, sized rings that can only fit the world's smallest size. And that's the other thing when we go shopping. I love when the staff at a department store says, "What size is she?" I'm like, "Would you have the world's smallest size section, please?" And they just look at you and there's this look on their face like, I don't know how to answer that. So we have to go to like 3 months and under, like pre-shopping.
In the trailers, they're like, "What's?" And she's like, 3 months.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you see some of the jokes that she plays on James and I, by the way, she plays practical jokes on us constantly. And she sets me up good in this TV program. When you see, she gets me a few times, and that wasn't a setup. She, when you shoot a reality show, you think it's all scripted and things. It's really not. They put you in an environment and they're like, okay, here's the environment, go for it, and it's real. It's real. Things that you see there in the show is just real and organic, and it's us at our ugliest. It's us at our best. It's it's us eating pizza, and it's a big ball of fun. I can't sleep. I've been up for 5 days.
No, it is super exciting, and I mean, like, certainly, like, hopefully this whole situation in the world gets sorted out. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are for COVID over in India. But I mean,
well, it's bad. They're on lockdown, especially her, specifically her, because of her systems and things. So she's well protected. She's still doing her social media. She's still got to get out there and do her Jyoti thing. But she's well protected, and I know she's excited about coming back. And we're definitely going to have her back in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, and certainly, hopefully, this show does well, so everybody watches.
Just get people to tune in. 8 million people viewed the trailer. That doesn't mean anything. You know that. We want them to tune in. I want them to see what she has to offer everybody. Forget about me. Forget about James. Forget about the other ancillary people that are there. This is about her, allowing her to be her, and allow everybody to see her at her best, not just an American Horror Story. We want the people to see her as Jyoti, a 27-year-old female.
Yeah, and like you were saying, we talked earlier. She is a 27-year-old female. She's the world's smallest woman. But she has she is like any other 27-year-old woman.
And she knows what she wants, Mike. She knows what she wants. And I mean that when she starts screaming at us in Hindi, we know she means business.
Yeah, exactly.
That voice goes, and she lets us know she means business. So she may be petite, she may be ma petite, but let me tell you, she knows how to be the boss.
And like you're saying, everybody's looking at you like, oh, you're talking baby talk to her. There ain't no baby talk when she's probably ready to say what she needs to say.
Oh no! When she's done, when she's had enough at a convention, at a Comic-Con specifically, after meeting like 10,000 people, she'll look at me and she'll just do this. She just turns her head, and that's all she needs to do with me. I've learned her so well that we don't even have to be able to speak English or Hindi. She just gives me the eyebrows, like I think a lot of women do. Once the eyebrows and the eye switches, I'm on it. I am on it.
I just want to share a couple of comments here, and then we're going to wrap up soon. Ryan O'Connor saying his friend in Pittsburgh does ESL classes. So when she's back with you, there you go.
Nice, I love it.
Well, while you're away, Mark Shower said Tim Bendig is my best pal.
Oh, how nice.
Let's see. Carol Robertson said Ryan O'Carroll, wow, to have such a big-hearted friend. So there you go. Tim's got a big heart, guys, and we all know this.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I can't help it. I think that's why I went back into EMS. Since this whole Corona thing happened, the convention world, as we all know it, is no longer existing right now, at least for this year.
Yeah.
Some shows are still trying it. So, guys, I decided to get back in EMS and go back, and I work at an emergency department. I went back at a hospital where it's Corona ridden, and you know what? I am honored to be in an ER helping the many people that are dealing with this Corona. It's not just Corona; it's heart attack, strokes, you name it, cuts, lacerations. But you know what? We're seeing an uptick in patients, and I'm honored to be able to be on the front lines helping people. And I can't stop. It's in my system. It's in my blood. The minute I knew this virus is a pandemic, I knew, gentlemen, I had to get activated again. And I went, activated my license, and got put back to work.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you're doing great work. Like, with the conventions, you do great work, and for people. And now, while the conventions are gone, you're still serving the community, which is
you don't stop. You don't stop, guys. I never stop. That's so. It's just never stop. I keep on going because it's. You know what? I wake up every day thinking, what can I do for somebody? Regardless, holding a door, though it's never good enough for me. I'll stand or let the next 15 people behind them. I'll wait till the next people are done eating at their table and still hold the door for them. I just continuously go and go and go. James hates riding in the car with me because if I see an accident, I'll whip that car and park so quick, jump out like Superman, and just do what I got to do, and then jump in the car like nothing ever happened. And James sitting there with his head spun like, why? Can we just go to dinner one time without you jumping on somebody?
But it's in your blood, and it's your character, and it's a positive thing. And certainly that positivity, extends to all these people like Caroll and Deb, like Jyoti.
They're all good people.
Exactly,
they're all good people. Again, it's because we met like Caroll, and it's all fan oriented. My friends became the fans became my friends. They're on my Facebook. They message me. We talk. We engage. We become friends. Because I want to give them an experience, but yet I want them to know me, that I'm just like them. I just happen to work with movie stars.
Yeah. And, I mean, what more could you want? Like I said, it's a humbling thing to do.
Well, now that I've been on your show, I could just retire now. I don't have to do any other acting or producing. I was in a movie called Tributaries, which comes out. I play a DJ. It's a speaking role. It's a credited role.
Nice.
I produced with a cousin of mine, Chris Nesbazinski, who's a great director locally here in Pittsburgh. He did a movie called Grandpa, which you got to check it out. He's got so many other wonderful things in the works. But Chris Nesbazinski, great director here, and you'll see a lot of him in the future for sure. So there's a lot of things, and we're going to keep on going, guys. We're going to keep on going, and I'll know when these conventions will open back up. We'll all be back out there, and I'll get to see both of you, because I'm going to work with both of you two on your little things that you do for these wonderful kids. I can't wait to start getting you guys out there.
No, I appreciate it. And again, we appreciate you coming on tonight, sharing all these great stories with us. Again, like for everybody who's watching, definitely certainly check out In Person Pro. Find them on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Watch Jyoti the 9th, right?
July 9th at 10 p.m. on TLC, and I tell you, and I end it with this. And this is not because I'm in it, not because we're producing it, not because of Jyoti's in it. It just was really good. I was so nervous of seeing. I still am nervous because I don't know what to expect when it's in the English version. But for what I saw, wow, they edited it perfectly for her. It makes her exactly what we wanted her to come across as, just being a young lady experiencing American culture.
Yes, and that's gonna be amazing. And then, like you were saying, I guess if you want to plug anything, I know you said there's some cool things that you have in the works. Like you were saying, maybe there might be some stuff with Mrs. Spinney about Caroll and all that stuff.
Well, it's funny as we close out. As I let you go on this note, just to wrap with Mrs. Spinney. What we want to do is a Wives of Legends tour, and we're currently talking with Mrs. Rogers and her camp about doing this along with Mrs. Spinney and a few other wives of legends, not so much puppeteers, it's just any wives of living legends or deceased legends, that just goes and be able to give a real more intimate detail of what it was like being part of their lives in a marriage kind of a way, or a family kind of way. So a lot of the projects, but right now the foremost project is July 9th, 10 p.m. TLC, Jyoti project. It's going to be great.
Oh, check it out. Let's help get to 10 million likes. I just looked. It's like 8 point something million likes.
Actually, we're going to hit 10 million. We know it, just because statistically, as James is doing the numbers, he's got an abacus out right now doing numbers. So we know that potentially it's there to hit 10 million viewers for that trailer is just unprecedented for it, and we just can't wait to see what the future holds for all of us.
Yeah, so it's going to be amazing stuff. So once again, Tim, thank you tonight for doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, thank you for putting up with me too up there in the right hand corner. Thank you for just giving this little guy, no name me, Tim Bendig, an opportunity just to share for a minute of the joy that I get of working with the wonderful people that we do, and I'm humbled that that TLC gave us an opportunity, and just wow, I'm just overwhelmed, and I can only but thank everybody for being our friends and being supportive through the good and all the craziness that I put out there for people.
Yeah, and I want to share that same sentiment with you. I mean, we're humbled and honored that we have this friendship with you.
I adore you guys. I try to tune in. I try to like and forward and pass, because really fans need to come to your show because it's wholesome. It's not, look, let me end it with this because I can go on and on. It's not all about the stormtroopers. It's not all about The Walking Dead. I like coming to you guys because you offer a kind of a wide range of appeal. And I think that's what's good about your show, is that people tune in because it's different. it's fun. It's real. It's, you know, you got a guy up there sitting in a dining room. You got another guy in the men's room there. No, you know, I'm saying you made me feel comfortable. I should just take off my shirt. I had it pressed today just for this. You know, I love it. So you made me feel welcomed and comfortable, and I thank you for allowing me to, you know, express our little project with you guys and what it was like working with Caroll Spinney and the many others that we work with. And the other thing we're pushing, by the way, and you'll see this soon, and then I promise we'll end it, with Ensign Williams, he has a alert drops. Alert drops is something that I'm telling you is organic. His family member, his uncle, was Dr. Heimlich for the Heimlich maneuver.
Oh,
and
wow.
he created this organic alert drops, and you put it underneath your tongue, and it gives you this energy. Can you tell? Hello? You know, it really gives you this pep in your step, and it's just all organic. It's all natural, and I'm partnering up with him with doing some nice, you know, wherever we can push the product. I guess it's going to be a lot of fun doing conventions with it, but you'll see a lot of that as well. We're doing celebrity weddings. We're actually going to do where you can hire a celebrity and they're going to fly out and perform the wedding for you. So you'll see that with me and Ensign Williams. We're partnering up with that project as well to perform celebrity weddings, and they'll come to your wedding and marry you. Get to pick who you want.
So I can have Patsy marry me.
That's right. We actually did one with the Munsters. We had Pat Priest and Eddie Munster, Butch Patrick, and Marilyn Munster. We actually had the Munster coach. And we got the, you know, Butch Patrick, who's a minister, married the people at this car show. It was I set it all up for them, and it was unbelievable. So with that said, those are the projects that we're doing, and I can only but thank you guys for allowing me to tell our story.
Yeah, no. And again, thank you so much for coming on. So tomorrow night, guys, join Grassia with J.M. DeSantis.
Oh,
yeah.
Good show coming up for that one.
Yeah. And then tomorrow, and then on Thursday night we have James Howell, who's a writer. He's going to be with us on Thursday. So again, all kinds of cool stuff happening, and
I'm going to tune in, and we're going to push it. And we want everyone who knows us, James and Tim, please go to IncrediCon. Look at them. Look at their site. Look at everything they do, because I tell you, be foolish not to tune in again with these guys. Truly.
And we'll tell our fans, because we'll be on next Monday. I can promise you next Monday we will be telling everybody to tune in to Jyoti. So.
Oh, yeah. We can't wait. And thank you so much for allowing us. And, guys, I really mean this. And I know James is holding up the cue card to say, you know, thank you from Tim. So thank you, James, for your tech support. Well, yes. He's already mad at me because, you know, from the laptops that I did something with the settings, and he's all, you know, the tech guy. So he's like, I told you not to mess with it, but I did. So this is what you get at the background of my wall. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Excellent. All right. Good night, everybody, and we will see you next time.
Good night, guys.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.